Hi, I'm John from off-road.cc, and I'm having a micro-adventure. Basic plan is I'm going to ride the classic gap mountain bike route, then at its highest point near the peak of Van, I'm going to spend the night there, so hence I brought all my extra bits with you. The only thing that I haven't brought with me, unfortunately, is the battery for my light. That's still in Bristol, and I'm an hour and a half drive away, so the current plan is I do have a little head torch, but let's go as far as I can. Hopefully outside of the woods it should still be light until fairly late, and then when I can't see anything or I can't ride, then set myself up, kip, and then finish the rest of the ride in the morning, and hopefully you can see me as well.
So my main real aim here was to see, can you get away, have a little adventure without it really eating into your normal time, because people often think you have to go to massive great distances to have a proper adventure. But my thought was, well, what if I set off in the evening, maybe after you've put the kids to bed or whatever like that, and then with a bit of an understanding partner, you could then bimble off into the hills, do your ride, kip out there overnight, wake up in the morning nice and early, and then lo and behold be ready or back in time for work the next day. So that was the aim of the game, really. So unfortunately I set off a bit late, about sunset. I didn't do myself any favours because I'd forgotten the battery for my light. So yeah, I basically had to stop a little bit earlier than I'd expected. I stopped about 7k in at about a place called Darrell Vower. There are loads of GPX routes for the Gap ride kicking about, and I'd say it's definitely worth downloading that, because especially at night it's been an absolute pain trying to navigate, as well as just kind of keeping concentration up to just ride. So at least having a GPX file to let you know that you're always on track is really, really good idea, and meant just takes the pressure off completely. As you can see here, I've got my hot chocolate that I nicked from a hotel I stayed in recently, because single servings are always good, and of course I've got a Scotch egg for tea, simply because Scotch eggs equal camping, and they're full of nutritious animal byproducts, and an egg, I think, maybe. So about 4 hours poor sleep later, thanks to coughing sheep. Never knew they did that. It sounds really weird. And yeah, I was welcomed by quite a hell of a view, which I kind of know must be there. But obviously at night you just can't see anything. But yeah, it's pretty spectacular. As you'll see in a moment, I'm quite bleary-eyed.
Good morning. It's not a shit view. It's quite early though, it's about 5 AM. But it's daylight. Everything else is awake. That means I'd better be too. Cup of tea.
So 1 cup of tea later and some instant porridge, and obviously I was set for the day, which I was not. I was completely knackered. Yeah, packing away stuff, that took a fair while. Always takes long when everything's absolutely soggy. But all I had now was a small little climb, and then I'd crack on with what turned out to be quite a nice descent, written off the fact that it was quite rough and rocky, and I was still a bit sleepy. On a rigid bike there's quite a lot of getting bounced around. I'd also run into another small issue, namely that I'd used up all my water by making my tea and my porridge and my hot chocolate luxuries, and having only taken 2 small bottles, I needed some more. Luckily there was this outdoor centre, and they had an outdoor tap with drinking water, which was very fortunate, because it might have been pretty stuffed without it.
Right, I'm on my first big climb of the morning. I think it's going to take me all the way up the saddle just beneath Van, and in suitably ominous looming mountain style, it's just starting to pop out of the mist at the top, so hopefully when I get there it's all going to be clear. But anyway, yeah, it's quite spectacular. Right, I'm at the top of Craig Cumwyn. Cumwyn? Yeah, I think something like that. which I'm moderately sure is just about the halfway point. And as you can see, come to the mountains for the spectacular views, of which there aren't any. Hopefully it'll clear once I start going down. Time's about 7:15, so I might not make it to work quite on time, but I shouldn't be too late. I hope. Maybe I'll just miss rush hour, that'd be nice. Anyway.
As you can probably tell by the host of comedy noises, it's quite a rocky descent down from that pass, which absolutely beat the crap out of me. Not quite literally, which was lucky. But anyway, it's really nice, and the weather was starting to just clear up a little bit, so I'd missed out on big views, but I was still going to get some nice riding. In fact, most of the perils were kind of animal based. These cows were moderately intimidating. Or maybe I've lived in a city too long. Either way, this was some of the best bits of the entire ride. Some nice little single tracky bits, just through really nice countryside. Nothing dead technical, but it just all looked really pretty. But then it was pretty much back onto the road and just having to hack it back to Talabont, which is where I set off from. So by this point it was about 8:30ish, maybe a little bit later. So my original plan of being back in time to get to work, maybe not quite right, because I still had an hour and a half drive to get back home. But with proper planning and preparation, of which I did none, you could probably do it, and I'd highly suggest that you do. It's a cracking way to pack in a lot more riding than you might be able to do, and have like a little bit of an adventure without really eating into a massive amount of time. The only thing I would say is try and get more sleep than I did, because trying to go to work on about 4 hours sleep is not good for anyone. Either way, I hope this inspires you to get up and out there and have a little micro adventure of your own. It's definitely worthwhile, and it's absolutely easy to do.